tell you their situation their lives have not changed. If anything, maybe they go to us. The main responsibility is with us. We must be the ones there to make whatever opportunity available work for us.
Yes, that is the sad truth. The sad truth is that it's the responsibility of these top leaders, including Paul Kagame himself, as he has mentioned in the interview that you have seen there. However, we can see it clearly that Paul Kagame of Rwanda is skeptical about Donald Trump delivering success in this deal. My question is, does he even want to have a deal to end this war? Because it has been going on for decades and decades. Because as we're going to see, he accuses Felix Tshisekedi, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, of wanting to manipulate others with the minerals and rare earth metals that are found in DRC, so that he can be able to achieve the results that he so desires. And on top of that, Paul Kagame also confirms that Tshisekedi himself has been going after he's the one who has initiated all these peace deals, which also shows us the other part of Tshisekedi, that he truly wants to have peace in his region. But and all the other stakeholders that have been coming on board, like Qatar, USA, Burundi, South Africa, and all others that have been trying to help resolve this conflict, he has been promising to grant them a piece of what the DRC possesses, and instead is being stolen by the Rwanda-backed rebels, M23, and all other groups. As you know, the more stakeholders get on board, the more the share shrinks. But this is something I don't think is good on when it comes to Paul Kagame of Rwanda. I don't think this is something that excites him. He's really not happy with that, because after all, he has been having the whole share by himself. And the problem is this: I personally think there's a lot going on there. Paul Kagame has a lot of coded messages that he's always passing through. Because at first he said that no one asked Trump to get on this. He took it upon himself. At the same time now, he is showing us how Tshisekedi is the one who is going after all these deals. And I'm like, why doing this? You see, the problem is, if someone comes in for the money, they will only be loyal to the money. And I also believe, I believe President Kagame in this, where he says that these things are not going to produce results. Because when somebody comes in for the money, he's loyal to the money. Because whatever side that is giving him more money, he will work for that side. Remember, the rebels here are very strategic. They're very strategic to the point that they are taking over all the major places with the minerals that could generate a lot of money, and which shows that in case it's all about the money, they have the better chances of paying off these guys and have the deal swing to their favor. You get? Because the DRC government can only offer the minerals, can only also offer the authorization to take the minerals as the government. However, the rebels themselves, their own ground, they can offer the minerals and the security as well, because they have guns and they have backup from a whole nation like Rwanda. You know what I mean? And I also believe that there is some other truth in Paul Kagame's statements, that this thing is all about the money. Because the President of the United States of America himself has openly confirmed these allegations that
Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo, they've been fighting for 31 years, 8 million people dead. It was going on. Nobody could go to that part of Africa. They were being killed. If to even walk there, you're being killed with machetes. And it was a violent situation. And I was able to, they liked Trump. They wanted to make a trade deal with Trump. They wanted us to take their rare earth. They want to give us their rare earth. And I got to know the leader of the Congo. I got to know both of them indirectly. And I called them. I said, let's end the war. I don't want anything until you end the war.
So this deal has really enticed him to get interested in this matter. So it's not all for the sake of humanity. Let's listen to this message that he actually said about this. I'm just going to clip out that moment. But my question is, what does Rwanda have to offer? If Rwanda is put on the table to discuss issues of peace and all that, what does it have to offer? Because it's clearly breaking the law if it's backing up rebels in another country. It is clearly breaking the law, because this is not its territory. This is pure invasion. But anyways, listen to this, then we can conclude.
It is about all kinds of things: democracy, freedom, this and human rights, and so on and so forth. But for many years, we have seen that these have remained just stories and theories, but in practice, you don't see that translate into improvements of many countries or people's lives, say, on our continent. Then you have the other, which focuses on some tangible things, if it is trade, different economic interests, how they translate into improvements of people's lives, and focusing on the real things. And, well, as people have said, looking at the transactional nature of what do you give, what do you gain, what are the results, that makes it easy to measure what you are getting out of any engagement. I think, in my personal opinion and experience from our own situation, Rwanda's or the regions, I prefer the latter. I find there are things you get out of that, but the other ones is just, in fact, sometimes the first one I mentioned, sometimes it just increases problems that have to be managed.
Totally disappointing, right? Totally annoying. He's right and wrong at the same time, because how could he say that he has hope in a deal that has a lot to do with the financial benefit, the financial aspects? If there's something in for him or others, that deal would yield more results. I mean, I'm not understanding. I'm like, what happened to humanity? What happened to human rights and all that? Why don't you believe in all these? Because the fact that you say that people are going after them and they're not producing results, have you gone after them and they did not produce results for yourself, or you expect someone else to come and do it in your own country? However,
Despite our good faith in the recently ratified agreement, it is clear that Rwanda is already violating its commitments. The day after the signing, units of the Rwandan Defense Forces conducted and supported heavy weapons attacks. Moreover, these facts are part of a reality established long ago by the United Nations.
Because just a few days after the peace deal has been signed in Washington, President Felix Tshisekedi, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, came out and accused Paul Kagame of Rwanda to violate the deal as the war escalated in the eastern DRC immediately the day after the signing, where the Rwanda was accused of bombing border areas, and it sparked the DRC forces to retreat, including also the Burundi forces that had come to give backup. They're all retreating. Because as a region, East African region, we are bound to help one another in terms of security and stability and all that kind of stuff. But seeing all these, like the M23s are surging south along the RN5 highway, or also eyeing Uvira near Burundi, so they're just taking more area. And Tshisekedi is really clear in this, that this is invasion. This is pure and simple. Rwanda is looting DRC's minerals through their rebel proxies. When you hear the M23, they say that they are Rwanda-backed rebels. And this is not good for the people of DRC, and this is not good for the other stakeholders that are being brought on board, because there's clearly no diplomacy here. I don't even know. Okay, so I see this and I understand that Paul Kagame is blaming Tshisekedi for bringing all these people, manipulating others because he wants to get his own desires. But I believe that Tshisekedi's mission is to deliver peace in DRC, because he's a nation. He's a nation of DRC, and these are his own people, family, blood, relatives, and all that. So I think he desires to see a peaceful DRC, because as a leader of the country, this is what is required of him, which might not be the same for the Rwandan government under Paul Kagame, because as he has confirmed that he believes more results can come from the financial aspect of it, So, I mean, how can you even justify killing people because you want money? And yet, you're there legitimately as I am not a judge in this situation, but I just passed over my opinion, and you can help you to judge for yourselves in this area, and those who have more knowledge about this conflict that has been going on, because it has not always been about the M23. It has always been there have always been different groups that are evolving from this to that, but the same reason. So there are different groups, but the same reasons, which makes us think that maybe it's the same people behind all these different groups. They just keep on morphing around, changing shape, changing name, changing all these different things, but still stick to their core values, which is looting DRC and selling the minerals, which is said mostly through Rwanda. So I imagine, I'm like, okay, if these guys have signed the peace deal about the ongoing conflict in in DRC, why is there still fighting? Why is there still people taking up over places? Why are they still, This is really, 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 really sad that Africans, we are so centered on the financial, we even forget about our own well-being. Because in other lenses, when you look at this conflict very well, you only see that it's Rwanda invading DRC for whatever reasons, God knows why. And what is very hard for me to understand is what is going through Paul Kagame's mind. Because here he will come and blast Tshisekedi for multiple violations of the past deals and Nairobi process, Rwanda talks, triggering his rage to act in a way that is very questionable. Because when we're seeing M23 breaking ceasefires mostly, What secret pacts got violated that we didn't know about at first that triggered him to do all these attacks? I guess we'll never know until transparency hits. But the double standards stings. The accusations fly. The ground truth shows Rwanda-backed advances, killing dozens and displacing more. So the Washington Deal Accord, of course, people will be wondering what was there, it was simply building on the June framework. The June framework, that is the Qatar-Doha roadmap that they had in plans, where Kagame calls it the internal deal. This is like more of an external cover-up, but the internal deal, the real issue is Qatar and Doha. So I believe President Paul Kagame believes more into the Doha deal than the US deal. Yet, at the same time, he claims that the US deal is neutral. Hey. Well, they promised that this deal, it promises ceasefire, the M23 disarmament. That means they need to disband the M23. They need to neutralize all the threats like the FLDR militias, which the Rwandan government is so afraid of, and that's why they are backing the M23. And also the economic ties via the regional economic integration framework. This is supposed to help boost that, because the African Union is also on it, the UN is also backing it, and we want to see a real shot of stability for the 7 million people who are displaced all over East Africa. But so sad that 24 hours later, boom, betrayal. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. It's Ivan Mugalia here at Annex Media. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for the latest update.